Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video. And today I finally got you guys a Morgana video. And let me tell you right now, Morgana is insanely powerful. As a support, as a mid laner, and as a jungler. She fits all these different roles. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to play Morgana. I almost said Oriana. And I'll show you how to combo her abilities, how to maximize the potential of her abilities, because that's actually very important with Morgana. And I'll show you guys how to build Morgana. So if you want to skip to the gameplay immediately, there, like always, there's timestamps in the description. Let me just place myself a little further. Yeah. So let's get into the video. So for Morgana, I have two builds. I have a build, well, basically three builds, but I'll get into that later, but two builds. This is support build, and then I have the jungle and mid lane build. Let me quickly go over the jungle build, which is, you start with a Luna's Echo, and then you got Ionian Shadows. The shadows are absolutely amazing on Morgana. You can also go for Protobelt, by the way. Like, basically like using Protobelt with Ahri's third ability. It's the same as Morgana's first ability. If you feel like you can easily catch up to an enemy with the Protobelt, boom, you dash to them and you surprise them. However, the thing with Shadows is, Shadows actually slows the enemy between 20 and 40% for 5 seconds, for up to 5 seconds. Now that's gonna make it super easy for you to hit your first ability as well. And on top of that, it's gonna slow the enemy by so much. It's insanely strong, guys. So to catch up an enemy, I really recommend Shadows Enchant. You should just give both of them a try. Try out Protobelt Enchant and Shadows and see what fits you the best. Keep in mind, this is the mid lane and jungle build. Next, you go for Leandris. The reason that you go for Leandris is because it perfectly synergizes with Morgana's second ability and her ultimate. These are AoE abilities, and Leandris is really good with AoE abilities, so that's why you want to go for Leandris. As your third item, you go for a Rabadon's Death Cap. You want that damage, and this is the perfect item to go for on Morgana as your third item if you just want to deal damage. And then as your fourth item, you go for a Void Staff. And then as your last item, it's situational. So if the enemy is very tanky and you're playing either jungle or mid lane Morgana, you are actually really well off going for a Rylai's Scepter. Because if they're tanky, you're not really going to be able to hard burst them down. So the Rylai's Scepter is actually going to double the percentage burn damage of the Leandris, which is going to be insanely effective against tanks. However, if the enemy is squishy, you're much better off going for the Green Book. I mean, you can go for Infinity Orb, but I really don't recommend it because Morgana is not a burst champion. Green Book is way better because it applies the Grievous Wounds on all the enemies that you hit. And there's going to be a lot of enemies that you're going to hit with that second ability, of course. More on this later. So for the runes that you want to go, Electrocute, Brutal, Adaptive Carapace, and Pathfinder. These are the jungle runes. The mid lane runes are a little different. For mid lane, you want to switch out the Brutal and go for Gathering Storm. And then as your last rune, you want to go for the Sweet Tooth, because Sweet Tooth is broken. So keep that in mind. Let me bring this one back to the jungle build. Yes. And then for your spells, you either go for Smite and Flash, or you can go for Ignite and Flash. You don't necessarily need a barrier unless you really feel like you need it in the matchup, because when you root the enemy, your Ignite is going to be a really good finisher. So now let's quickly talk about the other build, which is the support build. So it is quite similar, but there are some differences. You start with a Luden's Echo as well, and then you go for the Shadows. However, with the support build, you can actually also start with the Shadows. If you just want to root the enemy for a really, if you constantly want to root the enemy and lack a little bit of damage, you can get the Shadows. However, I personally recommend to go for Luden's Echo first. I don't know, I just feel like the Luden's Echo Power Spike is incredibly powerful. And the mana is also really nice. It allows you to constantly spam your abilities compared to getting the Shadows, which doesn't give you any mana. So you have to decide yourself. Do I want the slow from the Shadows and have more roots? You go for the Shadows. Do you want more damage and more mana and stuff like that? You go for the Luden's Echo. So yeah, second item, you go for the Shadows. Third item, it's situational. You either go for the Rylai's Scepter or the Leandris. If you want, if the enemy has a lot of tanks, you go for the Leandris. Otherwise, you go for the Rylai's Scepter. I don't really recommend a Rabadon's Death Cap on support Morgana, because your build is going to be very delayed as you're a support, right? Like, you're not going to be ahead by a lot of gold because you're only taking the passive gold from the minions. That is why I recommend you to get these two items next, which is the Leandris and the Rylai's Scepter. if you like, you already have a lot of ability haste, 15 ability haste from the Ioni boots, and then 20 ability haste from the Ludens Echo. So you can spam your abilities, and then your second ability also gets even more ability haste when you hit it on an enemy. So with the Rylai Scepter, you're gonna slow all of the enemies inside your second ability, allowing you to hit them more often, which effectively decreases the cooldown more. So basically, Rylai Scepter has ability haste for Morgana. That's how you have to see it. And then Liantris to double that burn effect with the Rylai Scepter. These items are also going to make you quite tanky. As you can see, 250 bonus health and 350 bonus health. And then for your fourth item, if you reach the fourth item as a support, you go for the Rabadon's Death Cap, or let me find that item for you real quick. You can also go. By the way, you can also go for the Banshee's Feel if you feel like you need it against like a Fizz or something like that, so you don't get one shot. Or let me see. The Hextech Mega Drive. I don't recommend the Hextech Mega Drive because it only gives 35 ability power. But if you constantly want to spam your shadows, you could go for the Hextech Mega Drive. Like, again, I don't really recommend it. It's pretty good because you have a lot of immobilizing and your third ability is a shield. But you can go for it as your fourth item if you really want to be a support for your team. Otherwise, go for the Rabadon's Death Cap and then a Void Staff. So you become an absolute Giga Chat late game carry as well, even though you're in a support role. So for the runes that you want to go for on support, Airy, because yeah, you're not going to have as much damage, and the Airy is just going to be much better also for shielding your allies with your third ability. Second rune, Gathering Storm. You're going to be scaling up that Gathering Storm damage up to the late game. You can actually choose to go for Brutal, however, because keep in mind, Rabadon's Death Cap is your fourth item as a support. So the Brutal is going to give you that nice little early game damage, but I personally go for Gathering Storm. Third rune, it depends. It really depends. Like, Hunter Titan is basically, the thing is about Hunter Titan, you only want to get Hunter Titan if you're like against a lot of CC. Not hard CC, just soft CC. Like, constant Lux roots, constant slows, constant stuff like that. Then the Hunter Titan is going to be good. But if you're against a Fizz or like, just hard CC, then your third ability is going to easily avoid that. So that's why, Hunter Titan is a bit questionable actually. So Adaptive Carapace is generally going to be better, even though you're playing support, because it gives you that very nice early game tankiness. So Adaptive Carapace is definitely recommended when you play Morgana. Fourth rune, you want to go Mana Flow Band because you're gonna need the mana. For the spells, you actually don't want to go for a shield. I think I have a shield here because I was playing. No, I don't know why I have a shield here. You either want to go for heal or exhaust or ignite if you want to be very aggressive. So enough about the build. Let's now get into the gameplay. Come on. Wait, let me just show you this right here. Like, before getting into the gameplay, I just want you guys to look at this chat. So you guys, like, you guys know what I have to deal with sometimes. I'm HellsDevil, I'm a YouTuber for Wild Rift, blah blah blah. Of course, there's a lot of people that like it, and they're like, hey Hells, you're nice, and I really love interacting with these people. I tell them, hey, love you too. But then you also have people like this. I have no idea why people have a grudge on me. They're like, he's like, this isn't my main anyways, so I'll make you lose here. Make sure you won't get into my queue again. I was jungle in this game. I had the jungle. Like, you'll see it in the match, you'll see it in the thing, but he just picked Nunu, so he would be able to take all my jungle, right? Like, he literally just picked Nunu, so he was able to just steal away all my jungle and troll. I was like, I don't care. Like, who cares about people like that? So I just switched to support. Look at this, by the way. Why am I getting plat games? What the hell is that, man? Like, the MMR is so broken. The enemy actually had some emerald and diamond people. Keep in mind, by the way, this game was recorded like 5 days ago when diamond was top 100 on the leaderboards. I was diamond 1 here. So keep that in mind, right? Like, this is not low elo. This is, this is decent elo. This is actually pretty high elo as well. Of course, the plat people are not high elo, but the emerald ones used to be like diamond 1 or master even. So keep that in mind. It's not low elo. So as I said, I really don't care about this guy. So I'm just doing my thing as support Morgana. I say follow me because this is the first lesson that I have for you guys when you play Morgana. In 50% of your games, you can get a free first blood. You can get a free first blood. Look at this. You just wait in this bush right here. Unfortunately, no one in my team followed up. I mean, expectable. Like, these guys are all toxic. I don't know what the hell, but you just go in that bush early game, and if you see an enemy, you get very close to that enemy and you root the enemy, and they literally die. They die. They cannot do anything. There is no way to escape. If you just have two allies to back you up, for example, Nunu and Kaisa in this game, you get a free first blood. As I said, the success factor of this is around 50%. Around 50%, which is quite high if you ask me. Getting first blood in at least 50% of your games, pretty decent, right? So as a Morgana, I actually always recommend you to do that level 1. Always go to that bush up here. Here, this one right here, you see that bush right there? Go in there. Oh, we're getting wrecked in the lane, by the way. Oh my god, I got destroyed, damn. I'll talk about that later, but always go in that bush and try to find a route, because very likely the enemy mid laner is just gonna face check. You know, they're just gonna face check, not really thinking something's gonna be up. So you go in that bush, you put down a ward. If you see the enemy, you can even flash to the enemy and use your first ability. Keep in mind that the way that you want to do the flash combo is first you use your first ability and then you flash, because then it's gonna be instant. Then it's gonna be instant. Look at this CC combo and he's dead. Look at that root duration, guys. You guys seeing that? Nunu rooted her and then I followed up with my root. See, that's the beauty with Morgana. Morgana becomes infinitely stronger when you pick her with even more CC. Because the chain CC is absolutely insane. So when my Nunu roots the enemy, I can follow up with my root, right? Because the thing about Morgana is it's not easy to hit your root. It's not the easiest ability to hit. It's basically like hitting Lux's root, right? It's doable, of course, but it's not easy. So it becomes infinitely easier and you can literally get a free root if your teammates have CC as well, like the Nunu route. So what I recommend you when you play Morgana is constantly pay attention when your teammates use their CC abilities. Because if the Nunu roots them, I need to be prepared. I need to immediately use my root on the enemy after Nunu. So they become CC'd for multiple seconds in a row, which should give us a free kill. It should. So that's also the kind of mindset that you want to have with Morgana. By the way, before talking about the mindset, I just want to quickly say I'm doing a 15 skin giveaway this month in December. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is put down a comment under this video and under some other videos that I've uploaded on December. Also, you know, give the video a like if you're enjoying it. So let's get back into the video. What was I saying? The way that you have to see Morgana, and if you don't see Morgana this way, she's going to be useless. There's two ways that you have to see Morgana. Well, maybe three. I'll talk about the third one and tell you why it's a maybe. The first way that you have to see Morgana is as a catching out champion. Your first ability is designed to catch out an enemy and get a free kill. Comparable to Lux, as I said, right? And comparable to Fizz's ultimate, for example. I mean, it's not the same, of course, but the way that you have to think like it is you catch an enemy with your first ability, which is really hard to hit. But if you hit the enemy, it's very rewarding. Very, very rewarding. The route is insanely long. The second way that you have to see Morgana is about your second ability. So in the early game, your second ability doesn't really do a lot. It really doesn't do a lot of damage. But in the late game, the cooldown becomes lower and it does more damage when you get the Liandry's, the Rylai's Scepter. So the way that you have to see it is your second ability is basically a pool of doom. That's what I like to call it, a pool of doom. Because you're literally raking doom on the enemies. Like, when you put it on the enemies, you slow them, you deal damage, and it deals more damage when the enemy is at a low amount of HP. And the most amazing thing is, if you hit a lot of enemies multiple times in a row with your second ability, the cooldown is going to be back. And you can hit another second ability. It's literally going to be off cooldown. So try to hit as many enemies as possible with that second ability in team fights. And you can literally just constantly spam it. They just use 2 ultimates, by the way. Yeah, they use 2 ultimates. That's good for us. So, come on. Nice, we got it. So, you know, catching out an enemy or sustain damage in the late game with your second ability. You only have sustained damage in the late game. Keep that in mind. The only use that you have in the early game is to catch out an enemy with your first ability. That's literally the only use that you have. Now let's talk about the ultimate, because although the ultimate may seem like an easy to understand ability, let me tell you right now, after playing a lot of Morgana games and seeing Morganas being played, I'm telling you, like, this ability is really hard to use. Because Morgana is not a tank. It's true that your third ability gives you a shield against magic damage. Oh my god, did you see that? There it is. Boom, she got stunned and killed. So let's talk about what happened here. No, actually, let's not talk. I'm first explaining to you guys how to use the ultimate. So the ultimate puts chains around all the enemies that are around you. Boom! It puts chains on them, and it deals damage equal to like, I believe 12 to 20% of their HP, depending on how much AP you have. So it deals a lot of damage to tanks as well. So boom, you cast your chains, and then you have to maintain those chains for 3 seconds. Then after 3 seconds, if you still have the chains on the enemy, boom, they stun the enemies for 1.5 seconds. And yet again, they deal the damage, the 12 to 20% damage. So it's actually really hard. This is a really hard ability because the way that you have to see it is you have to stay alive for 3 seconds close to the enemies. You are Morgana. All of your abilities are designed to deal damage to the enemy from a far range, except for your ultimate. Your ultimate makes you have to step up in the middle of the fight and maintain a close distance to the enemy. So, although you may think in some scenarios that you have the perfect ultimate ready, you know, when there's like 5 enemies close to each other, you flash in, you use your ultimate, let's go. Let me tell you, you're gonna get one shot in 1 second. So using the ultimate, you really have to be careful of your surroundings. I really like to use it in a 1v1 situation because one enemy is not going to be able to one-shot you as fast as possible. Look at this, boom, I hit it. Look at the damage. We didn't quite kill him, but look at that. Look at how toxic that is. He gets knocked up, I root him, and he is dead. Shyvana didn't even have a chance to use her ultimate. That's how crazy the CC duration is of that first ability. So, you know, with the ultimate, I really recommend you to just, like, if you want to use it on multiple enemies, make one of your allies go in before you. Like Nunu needs to go in, tank up all the damage, and that's when I need to go in. Use the shield on yourself as well, so you block any CC and also you block magic damage. And that would be the only situation that you can use your ultimate on 3 or more enemies, right? Otherwise, it's never gonna work. They're just gonna one-shot you. They're literally gonna one-shot you. Just take a look at this. That's a should be. Oh, I missed my root. Damn. As you can see, it's definitely not easy to hit the root. Like, it's obviously a free hit if an enemy CC'd, but otherwise, it's actually really hard to hit. So, you know, boom, there it is. But if you hit it, you get kills. He barely survived with his flash and everything like that. So it's insanely hard to survive Morgana's root. Like, hitting that ability is so damn rewarding that, like, you have to find the right angles as well. Like, you have to find good angles to hit it. There it is. And also, when an enemy is really close to you, of course, it's a free hit. Why does he go on me? Come on. Really? So if an enemy is right up in your ass, you know, like super close to you, you can auto-aim your first ability and you're going to root that enemy very easily. It's very easy. But from a long distance, it's pretty much impossible to hit because the enemy can always dodge it. Keep in mind as well, if the enemy has a Cloud Dragon, it becomes infinitely harder to hit your first ability. Because Cloud Dragon gives them movement speed. What does movement speed do? It allows them to dodge around faster. So keep that in mind. These are all very important things to understand. And now we get to the point I get the shadows. So let's take a look at how I utilize the shadows to make them effective for me and my team. So let's take a look. The longer the shadows travel, the longer the slow is going to be. So take a look. I slowed the cannon and Shyvana's right there, but I hit the Shyvana, but she still got the dragon. But the shadows are just really, really good. I'm giving him the shield here, by the way, so he can't get CC'd. Look, I used my ultimate and boom, there it is. The reason that my ultimate worked here is simply because Nunu was soaking up all the damage. That was a good moment to use my ultimate. Otherwise, as I said, you're always gonna die. Literally always. The only way that it's gonna work is if you do it like that. If you make the tank go in and tank up and soak up all the damage, like our Nunu did right there. Oh my god. What is that, guys? So you want to be like a sneaky little snake with that ultimate. You really want to be sneaky because the enemy sees you and they see you using your ultimate and they all focus you, you're gonna be screwed, guys. Like 3 seconds is more than enough times to kill you. More than enough. So about the third ability, this is actually a high skilled ability as well. Like Morgana is definitely pretty high skilled. Although the second ability is a brain dead ability, all of her other abilities are actually pretty hard. You know, they're actually really hard. So the third ability, you really need to time it correctly to make maximum usage of it. So of course you can just use it on a random ally or use it on yourself and make that ally invulnerable to CC, but it's best used right before the CC. So what I mean with that, if a Fizz ults one of your allies, you do not immediately use your third ability. You use it right before the ult gets procced. What's gonna happen then, for example, is the Fizz is gonna get baited. Fizz might all in your ally by, using all of his abilities because he's gonna one-shot her. But then you come in clutch with your third ability. You block the ult and your ally can just escape very easily. So that's kind of what you have to do with the third ability. Try to come in clutch, block at the very last second, but keep in mind, better safe than sorry. Don't always wait for the last second. If you don't believe in your skill to wait till the last second, just use it beforehand, right? It's not a problem. As I said, it's just better to bait the enemy to use it last second, but it's not a problem to use it before last second, right? So it's okay. I mean, we're not doing too good in this game, to be honest. Really not doing. I mean, we're doing fine, but it's still scary because I don't know if this Nuno is gonna troll because he literally took my jungle, so I don't really know. Yeah, whatever. Let's take a look. Shyvana right there. Can I hit it? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I ult him as well, and he's just dead. It's crazy how Shyvana didn't even have a chance to use her ultimate. How insane is that? Like, come on, how toxic is Morgana if she can just do that? The beauty is, here, another root hit. She's gonna be there. She's gonna get an AFK warning because she's rooted forever. And when enemies run after you, of course, you can just use your second ability as well to slow them down if you have the right Ice Scepter. So you want to be utilizing that one as well. All of her abilities just have so many uses to talk about. It's crazy. Like she's such a versatile champion. It's a really great champion. I might make a Morgana jungle video as well. Would you guys want to see a Morgana jungle video? You know what? This video reaches 1,000 likes. It's pretty late in the video to say that, but I don't care. I'll make a Morgana jungle video as well. I mean, this was supposed to be a Morgana jungle video, but I'm not gonna repeat the story. Yeah, this is gonna be a good game, by the way. This one is gonna be a good game, the late game. Because the Shyvana's getting dragons as well. You know, Shyvana with dragons is really annoying. Perhaps I should make a Shyvana video as well. I've never even played Shyvana in my life. That's the funny thing. And another thing about Morgana to understand is Morgana sucks against heavy attack damage champions. I used my ultimate here just on the Shyvana because it was the right moment to do so. Because I didn't want to dive super far. Oh, I hit my root and he's just screwed. He's literally dead. He's like, he cannot do anything if he's rooted like that. It's just absolute death. She goes in. Oh, she dodged my root. She flashed away. I can get the Thresh with my flash root, I think. Am I gonna do it? No, I'm not. I think he flashed away. So yeah, you know, you can do the combo with your first ability by using your first ability and then flashing. I made a full Morgana guide. If you haven't seen it already, just look up Hell's Morgana guide to see all the combos that you can do with her and even more tips and tricks. You know, now I'm giving you guys live tips and tricks, but that was actually prepared. I prepared that video, did my homework on the champion, and gave you guys everything in that video. So if you haven't watched it already, I really recommend you to do so. A quick little sneaky tip, by the way. Your ultimate, or sorry, Morgana has a way to show hidden enemies, like camouflaged enemies or invisible enemies like Kha'Zix's ultimate. You can know that they are around you. If you look at the ultimate's range, I don't know how far it is, but it's like, you know, it's pretty close to you. If you look at the ultimate right now, take a look at it. It's not lit up, it's like gray. This means that there is no enemy around it to put chains around. But if I come close to an enemy, if I come close, am I gonna come close? Then you'll see that the ability is gonna light up. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm not gonna go close to a Caitlyn, of course, because she's gonna destroy me. But let's wait for it, because it's very important for you to see. Yeah, there it is. See? It lit up. So even if an invisible enemy is close to you, I just completely denied Cannon's ultimate right there. Even if an invisible enemy is around you, you will see it. Or you won't see the enemy, but you'll know that the enemy is there. You'll know that the enemy is there because your ultimate is going to be lit up. So, you know, just a tiny little tip for you to know. It's not going to be that useful, but it might save your life one day, right? It's basically the same as Duskblade of Draktar's passive, right? Like you can see in the Duskblade of Draktar whether or not the enemies can see you, but the Duskblade passive is actually way more useful than this, so yeah. Oh yeah, Baron deals magical damage, by the way. Your shield blocks all of that damage, so you know, might be a good thing to know. Yeah, we get Baron here. That's nice. You can secure objectives very easily with Nunu. I'm just waiting for my Rylai Scepter. You guys are gonna see how toxic support Morgana becomes when you get that Rylai Scepter. It's totally worth skipping the Rabadon's Death Cap for this item. Because even though you're sacrificing some damage, you're getting way more back for it. First of all, you're gonna get tankier. Secondly, the slow. The slow allows you to spam your second ability more. It's amazing. It's really, really amazing. You guys will actually see how amazing it is. So here we're just invading the Shyvana. We want to deny her jungle, of course. You know, we want to be aggressive here. I'm pushing out the wave, by the way. Yeah, I have a Baron buff, so I'm just letting my team do the invade while I just get a free turret right here. And then I should go in with my shadows. Am I gonna do it? Nah. Uh-oh, yes, there it is. Use the third ability to avoid stuns, and they just wasted 2 ultimates on me thinking I was a free kill. Your third ability blocks CC, guys. It even blocks knockups, by the way. So even if a Malphite tries to ult you, your third ability is gonna block the knockup. Keep that in mind. This is a very important thing to understand with Morgana. You really have to utilize this ability to its powers, because otherwise you're missing out a really big part of her kit, right? You're missing out on a very big part of it. So now I got the Rylai Scepter, guys. Now the game changes. Rylai Scepter, first of all, is going to double the Liandry's damage. Secondly, it's going to slow the enemies. So let's take a look at how much of an effect it is really going to have. So let's just take a look at the game. Oh, I'm overextending. I am overextending. Yeah, I had to flash away. I just had to flash away there. I completely screwed up my positioning. But second ability, look. I root him on top of my second ability. I use my ult. I have my second ability again. And he's also slowed. He's stunned. And then he's rooted as well. He's just permanently CC'd. Like, look at this. He has no chance to survive. I use my shadows to slow him as well. And then my second ability to slow him again. Dude, the CC that you have, let me tell you. First ability is a 2.75 second root. Ultimate is a 1.5 second stun. Second ability is an AoE permanent 20% slow. And shadows, when you use them, it's a 20 up to 40% slow for 5 seconds. You literally have enough CC to have the enemies permanently slowed or rooted or stunned. Permanently, pretty much. So what else do you guys need, guys? What else do you need than the perfect Morgana build and the perfect way to play Morgana? At this point, when you have a build like this with the 3 items, the Rylai Scepter and things like that, you honestly don't even need to use your ultimate aggressively anymore. All you need to do is use your second ability on the enemy's backline and your first ability on their front line to root the enemy front line, and your second ability is going to take care of their backline. I screwed up here, by the way. I'm dead, of course. Yeah, like, you know, Camille's ultimate was able to kill me there. I was stepping up way too much. Like, this is what I mean. This is the worst way that you can position yourself as a mid-late game Morgana. Mid-late game Morgana doesn't really need her ultimate to play aggressively anymore. I really prefer using it passively. So if an enemy dives you, you chain them with your ultimate and you stun them. You know, when they're near you, you stun them. That's the better way to use your ultimate early game. Late game. As I said, in the late game, when you go for this build on support Morgana, all you really want to do is put down your second ability on as many enemies as possible and constantly spam it, and then your first ability on their front line or wherever you can hit it. If an enemy is CC'd, you can hit it on the CC'd enemy. We're actually screwing up here. Take a look at this. Oh, that damage. I had my vaccine 2 days ago, by the way. You know, on my left arm. The second vaccine, so I'm finally fully vaccinated, I guess. So that's nice. Yeah, I'm going for my shadows. Look, if I hit an enemy with these shadows... Hey, why did they not go for the Thresh? Toxic shadows. Oh, I hit him with the root. I use my third ability to block his hook. I chain him. Look at this. Oh, he blocked it. Boom. But I went on him with the flash as well. Boom. Second ability. He's dead. Caitlyn is chasing me. She cannot chase me because I would have rooted her and demolished her. Look at this. I'm just waiting for her to come close to me and I'm gonna hit my second ability on her again. See, the funny thing about Morgana is as well. Oh, she dodged it. Oh my god. Elder Dragon is like infinitely better on Morgana. It's basically like getting Elder Dragon on Singed. It's literally way better than getting it on other champions because you're dealing so much AoE damage with that second ability. So you're going to be applying the true damage from the Elder Dragon to as many enemies as possible. So Elder Dragon on Morgana is basically GG. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video regardless of me playing support Morgana when I was supposed to play jungle Morgana. But yeah, let's take a look at how much damage I did as a support Morgana, by the way. Let's take a look. 33,000 damage as a support Morgana. I did the second most damage in this game. So, thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.